This is a real simple bill. Basically, what it says is if a person willfully enrolls a child in a school district, knowingly that they don't live in that school district, they will be charged with a misdemeanor. Child will be suspended, and they will be subject to $500 fine and up to 30 days in jail.
Right, and tell us the situation under which these things come about. I know in DeSoto County, you tell me it's a major problem. So what are y'all experiencing in DeSoto County that brings you to bring this before us?
We've had such a mass problem with that. The supervisors did an ordinance to this effect.
So you're just carrying out what your local supervisors have asked you to do in this situation
Absolutely.
because of the influx of children from out of state?
Out of state, out of county. We have bordered by 3 counties, and being the #1 school district, a lot of people want to go there.
Right.
The issue at hand is that over the years, we've had 3 different bonds. And with those bonds, we've built schools. We also pay an extra ad valorem tax that goes to those schools. So they're basically stealing from DeSoto County school or DeSoto County taxpayers.
And what are the current penalties? This bill, before it's put on the books, if you're caught doing this, you bring your child across county district lines to enroll them in DeSoto County, and when you don't live there, what are the current penalties?
Expulsion.
You just get expelled, the child does.
Yes.
All right, and so you want to put some teeth into the law to make it less appealing to do so.
Absolutely.
All right, questions, Senator England?
Senator McLendon, I appreciate what you're doing here. As I understand it, you have parents that are wanting to send their kids to schools in your district because they're the #1 schools. Is that what you said?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Safe.
And safe. So we've got parents that are trying to send their kids to safe and better schools,
Yes, sir.
and we want to punish them for that in this bill?
No, sir. We're only going to punish them if they won't move there. They have all the opportunity to move there, buy a house, rent an apartment, whatever they might do to make that place domicile.
Why aren't they moving there?
You'll have to ask them that.
Do you think it might be because they can't afford to move into DeSoto County?
You'll have to ask them that.
Okay.
Should the taxpayers of DeSoto County flip the bill for every child in the world to be able to come to the DeSoto County schools?
Right. So I understand that that's the issue. It's a money issue. I wonder if this situation might be better served, and I know you sit on the education committee as well, if we were to allow more school choice in this state and allow tax dollars to follow these students that are coming to your schools, because I just have a problem with punishing parents with young children because they want to give them a better opportunity. Would you be willing to look at some legislation possibly? Because look, I don't support this bill as written because I don't like that.
You're in favor of stealing from taxpayers.
I'm in favor of figuring out a better solution to the problem. I don't think that your bill is the best solution.
Every child in Mississippi come to DeSoto County schools?
Well, apparently you want them to move there, which is great. I don't think that's the issue. Look, you're looking at it from one side of the problem, Senator McLendon. The other side of the problem are parents who want the best opportunities for their kids. I think there might be a better solution out there. Other states around us are looking at school choice. They're looking at ways to allow tax dollars to follow the students into the schools, because this is an issue. You have students coming in and they're not paying taxes, and look, good schools cost money, right? We all know that. I wonder if you would.
I know, because I've been paying it for 30 years.
If this bill doesn't pass, would you be open to looking at what other states do to allow for tax dollars to follow the students and the parents that are trying to find better education for their kids?
So that includes Tennessee residents who don't pay Mississippi tax to come down
Senator
and,
McLendon,
and join our school district, or
look,
Arkansas, come over and
we can certainly look at that, some sort of reciprocating legislation, if those states would be open to doing the same thing. Because the problem as I see it is that parents want their kids to be educated in the best way that they can.
sure,
And I just,
they can homeschool.
I don't know that, and I know and understand that you're bringing this bill because your supervisors have asked for it. I just don't know
I've
that.
got taxpayers asking.
Well, and I understand that. I don't know that the best solution is to criminalize the parents for this act. And I know that this bill does that, and that's why I can't support it. But I would just ask you
So
if
if
you
the
would
kid's
be,
expelled, is that penalizing the child?
well, it certainly is, yes. So
So we
does this
do that
bill-
every day.
Well, we do suspend children every day for actions that they do at school, presumably. So let me ask you this. This bill would require the students to be expelled? Does this bill require the students to be expelled for an action of the child?
The child is part of the action. Yes, he's showing up to a school that he doesn't belong in, that he's not living in.
I disagree with you, Senator McLendon. I will yield to others that may have
This
questions.
has nothing to
but
do with school choice. And yet it has everything. You have a choice to go and buy a house or rent a house in the school district you want to go to.
I understand that.
And there, we have rental houses all over DeSoto County.
I think as you and I sit
We also
here-
have property you can buy all over DeSoto County.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senator McLendon.
Recognize for question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator McLendon, my question is similar to Senator England's question. And you kind of got into it when you said that, yes, we suspend students every day. And yes, school districts do this, but that's an action of that child. And in this bill, you're saying that we're going to punish the child again for an action that they may have known anything about. So if you have a pre-K or a first grader that their parent has enrolled in that has enrolled them in a school district, so are we going to suspend this first grader for an action of their parents? And even if it's a 9th or 10th grader or high schooler that needs to be in school somewhere, and this is where their parents chose to put them in school at, are we going to throw these children, are we going to suspend these children again for an action of the parent? I mean, why are we punishing innocent kids for an action of the parent? Even if we just talk about elementary school children, and maybe these parents can't afford to live in DeSoto County. Maybe the rent is too high. Maybe the purchase of homes are too high. There may be a number of factors why they can't. So I agree with Senator England. I don't think that this should be an action where we should punish a first grader for the action of the parent that's trying to get them into a better education system.
Well, right now, we've got a student at Hernando High School that's being punished playing on the baseball team. He wanted to play on a better baseball team. So he came out of district. So should he be suspended?
All right, Senator Sparks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In section 1, I realize you're not trying to change section 1, but on line 20, it states that no pupil shall be permanently enrolled in a public school in the state of Mississippi that was formerly enrolled in another public or private school within the state until the cumulative record of the pupil shall have been received. Is there a process when somebody comes to school in DeSoto County that they have to fill out paperwork?
There is.
And they have to sign that? I'm assuming a parent or legal guardian fills that out or assists them in filling that out?
Yes, sir, there is. And the problem is that you have multiple families put the same address down. One family may have the water bill, but you got 5 families living in the home.
Have you consulted with a local
Oh, there's-
attorney for DeSoto County to see if there is some language that could be put into your enrollment documentation that creates a civil cause of action for defrauding the school district? That, I think that may be an option, may not be. I don't work in school rules, but the criminalization part is pretty tough. I want to ask you a question about the new language. In 72, of course, it's criminal conviction. When the Department of Education counts students in DeSoto County, do they count the one that you're aggrieved with, that you don't think should be there properly? Does DE count those students?
I'll have to find that out. I do not know.
You think they come through, know that that person is not properly in the school, and say, don't count Johnny, but then doesn't do anything?
I think the problem arises when you have multiple families using one address, but they're not living at that.
Well, I'm talking about the students. They come into this room. If I wanted to count the number of senators in here in this room, I just count them. But then I could also say who's on the committee, who's not on the committee. My point is, if DeSoto County's counting these students, they're receiving money based on the MAEP formula. So that's improperly going to DeSoto County. If you're going to criminalize the parent putting them in there, I understand the frustration, but that's the concern we run into, is all of a sudden now the MAEP formula has erroneously sent money to DeSoto County.
I'm sure
based
it's
on
sent
what you're
back.
saying.
It's probably sent back if that's the case.
Well, not if they're there. You know, I don't think that's the way it works. The second thing,
Well, I think
Last
once they're expelled, I believe it's probably sent back, but I'll have to verify that for you.
and then the last thing in subsection B, there's a requirement for the department, school district, or any school employee, so anybody that works there, to notify law enforcement. So you've created a duty. What's the penalty for failure to notify law enforcement by a school employee?
Well, I would assume, and we don't assume in here, that that would be up to the school board and the school superintendent.
So the legislation creates a duty, but is silent to the punishment.
We can add an amendment if you like.
Well, I'm just saying that that could be anywhere where they're not criminally liable per the statute, but you're telling me that could be anything from nothing to the school reprimands, disciplines, or terminates.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying we can add an amendment.
All right, thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, if not for a motion.
So if I could, Mr. Chairman,
Okay, I'm sorry, we got a question. Senator Simmons has a question.
Yeah, I actually have one question and then I have a motion, Mr. Chairman. So Senator McLendon, we are basically criminalizing the act of the actual parent, the legal guardian, or the custodian of the child. Correct?
yes, sir.
And this is for DeSoto County,
No, sir, it's for the state of Mississippi.
state of Mississippi. But you're saying the reason why you actually sponsoring this bill is because of the problem that you are experiencing in DeSoto County.
Where I live, yes, sir.
And the part of it that says $500 fine or by imprisonment for not more than 30 days. Are you sure that your DeSoto County judges will really put people in jail?
Well, that will be up to the judges, sir, just similar to, we had a little judge discussion yesterday.
And so, Mr. Chairman, at the appropriate time, I do have a motion.
Recognize.
My motion is I move the table.
Motion, would you like to speak to the motion?
Could I still speak on the bill?
Would you like to speak to your motion first?
Yeah, I mean, in light of the debate, certainly the concerns that were expressed by Senator England, also Senator Barnett, and also Senator Sparks, if the real issue is school choice, then certainly we'll have an opportunity to discuss that through this process and look at policy as it relates to that. But as proposed, to criminalize the parent, the legal guardian, or the custodian, does not seem to be the solution to the actual problem that's expressed by Senator McLendon. So there are certain other opportunities to address his concerns. So this bill in its current form, that's the reason why I make the motion to table.
Mr. McLendon, you're recognized to speak against the motion.
Yes, sir. What we're doing is we're adding undue burden on our teachers. We're adding undue burden on our taxpayers, our bus drivers, because we get kids that'll be dropped off at bus stations. Now, this has not just been, we decided to assess ourselves last week, last month, last year. last decade. This has been going on, that we've been paying extra for DeSoto County schools for decades. Not just people that go to school, older people that own houses, businesses, cars. Anybody that pays any ad valorem tax in DeSoto County pays extra for the 3 bond issues we had. How do we make those people whole through the years? Starting all through the years. How are they made whole? Do we let everybody? So are we a sanctuary district, school district? Is that what we are? Is that what we're saying? DeSoto County School District is a sanctuary school district. Senator England, you want everybody in the state to come up there. We are. We're going to bus them all up. We're going to train them. We're going to put them on an airplane. We're going to have a tent city. What do y'all want to do?
All right. Back to the author, would you like to respond? All right, you've heard the motion, which is to table. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Nay. The ayes have it. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all for inviting me.